So Maundy Thursday is a part of the Christian calendar. It's a part of Holy Week leading up to Easter. So much good stuff happens on Maundy Thursday. It takes place in the upper room where Jesus starts out by washing the disciples' feet. Then he established communion, the Lord's Supper. He tells the disciples what the new commandment is. Then he's betrayed by Peter and by Judas. He tells the disciples over and over again, "If you love me, you will obey my commands." A lot of churches overlook Maundy Thursday for Good Friday when Jesus dies on the cross for our sin, and that's an incredible thing. But Maundy Thursday also includes Jesus praying in the garden that cup might pass from him. And he finishes with a high priestly prayer for the disciples and for the church today. One of my favorite takeaways from Maundy Thursday is actually where it starts, with Jesus washing the disciples' feet. And I think that there's two takeaways for us here. First is that we need to be willing to serve people like Jesus served the disciples. Nothing was below Jesus, right? So we think about what he did. He washed the disciples' feet. Thinking about Bible times, people's feet were gross. The roads that they walked on weren't pavement, they weren't concrete, right? But they were dusty roads. And so people didn't have Converse high tops, they didn't have Nikes to be walking around in, they had sandals. So the sweaty feet caked on with the dirt and mud of the day, right? And so to lower yourself to wash people's feet was truly a great sacrifice. So I think that's one thing that we take away from Jesus, is to be able to do what he did and serve people no matter what it is before us. I think the second thing that we need to take away is to learn the lesson that Peter learned, and that's to let people honor God by blessing us, right? So often people want to honor God by serving us, right? Using their gifts, but there needs to be some element of humility in our life for people to do things for us. And so for us to allow people to use their gifts to serve God for our benefit isn't a pride-filled thing, but it's actually a humbling thing to let people honor God by serving us. One of the greatest highlights of Maundy Thursday is when Jesus gives the disciples a new commandment. And so the setting is Jesus, eating dinner with his disciples, conversation is going, and he knows that this is one of the final moments that he has with his disciples. And he's thinking, how am I going to sum up everything that I have taught them? What can I give them, one thing that they can hold on to after I've left them, that they can recall and live out? And so he says to them in John chapter 13, verse 34, he says, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another." And the reason for this commandment is simple. In verse 35, it says, By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. So as Jesus leaves, as he's rested and as he's crucified and raises again on the third day and he ascends into heaven, he has left them this truth, to love one another so that others will know that they were followers of Jesus.